Hello and welcome to Filling in the Gaps. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
Here on Filling in the Gaps, we talk about puzzling movies and puzzle games. Today we're going to talk about an FMV. I'm not going to call it a game.
I was going to say, is it puzzling movies, puzzling games? This is a puzzling movie game. I'm
not even sure it's that. It's FMV. It's even on their store page. I'm going to read their description. We're talking about the game Bloodshore. Now, according to their store page, Bloodshore is an interactive movie, like even in their description, and that's much more fitting, about a televised battle royale, which I have issue as well, between high-profile streamers, entertainers, and, I underlined this, death row inmates. Like, what? You control the fate of Nick, a washed-up actor who fights for a life-changing cash prize. But he doesn't really, and that's pretty apparent from early on. We're going to get into that,
things
though.
To unpack.
Yeah, there's a lot we're going to talk about in the spoilers section. But for now, let's just talk about what it is. It is an interactive movie. It is meant to be a battle royale story. The game comes from developers Wales Interactive, which we're very familiar with. We've talked about a number of their games so far, but also Good Gate Media, Way Out Pictures, Posterity Entertainment. A lot of groups trying to make this one. Published by Wales Interactive. How Long to Beat has it at about 1.5 hours. I beat it the first time in 82 minutes.
So that's pretty much bang on then. Yeah.
There is no completionist on How Long to Beat because nobody's done it yet. So If you've got all the achievements, you need to write down what your time is. It's 2.5 hours for main plus extra, which is about right. You can, as you watch through the second time, skip through some things, but I'm going to say it's not really worth it because of the way they've chosen to do it. This is not a spoiler. This is a mechanic of the interactive movie. You can skip scenes you've already seen. However, it only seems to work if you are going down the exact same path. I've had some scenes that are in both times I watched it, but I couldn't skip through because they were attached to another part I hadn't seen yet. Because you don't just follow one character, you're following multiple different characters, which is a problem I have with the way they've chosen to do this as a movie or interactive movie or game. It just doesn't quite work for me. And I'll get to that, I guess, in the spoiler section. Yeah. Because I can't really talk about it properly without probably giving away some of the plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played it when I played it my second playthrough. I didn't even bother skip. I don't like to skip scenes anyway, so it didn't really matter for me.
I would be fine to skip it. However, what it does is it takes you immediately to the next choice. So you don't even get a minute of setup of what is this choice. So you would have to remember exactly what you were doing or exactly what the choice is.
That is awkward.
And also, a lot of times, like I said, I was trying to hit the tab to skip through and it just wasn't going because one part of that section I hadn't seen, or it just wasn't working, or maybe I'm hitting the wrong button. I'm not sure.
It was tab to skip, wasn't it? It was definitely tab to skip.
That's what I thought, but it didn't seem to work a whole lot. Maybe it would, again, if I was more streamlined doing something I was doing before and just make small changes to the story. Mm-hmm. But that's something we'll get into later, I guess. Recent and overall are mostly positive, but even the overall, I think, is only 277 reviews. So take that for what it's worth. This is, as we record it, less than a year old. This came out back in November of 2021. But as far as when this episode uploads, it'll probably be about a year. Tags. I wrote down a few of their tags. Battle Royale, which I disagree with. FMV. Yes, you can't argue that one. Choices matter. Kind of like with all Wales Interactive, they kind of streamline down into what feels like an ending they want.
Yeah.
And so choices matter in the fact of what clips do you get to see, but it doesn't really feel like a choices matter. This feels much like we've talked about before with the Telltale games of...
That's exactly what I was going to say. This reminds me a lot of a Telltale game.
They're going to remember that.
Yeah, no they won't.
There is an icon that will pop up to tell you if your choice is going to matter for strength, for group, for leadership, for people liking you. And then you can constantly track that by pausing the movie and looking at your stats. It is an interesting concept. I don't like it. I don't like the way that it's being used, but I could see that it has potential.
Yeah, I thought, because when I texted you, I was like, oh, they're tracking my bullets, because it looked like the gun with the little minus symbol. So every time you shot a bullet, I was like, oh, this could be a choices matter thing where I have to choose who I kill or how many warning shots I fire, whatever. And this is going to matter then when I pull the gun and it just goes click. Oh man, I used all my bullets. That would be cool, but it's not. It's completely not that.
That's about strength. And much like some of their other games, where they choose to say how things pan out is a bit weird. There are a few times where the choices I was given, it didn't really fit what happened in the movie. It was a bit like Mass Effect dialogue in that respect. Mm-hmm. Other tags that they had, indie, I'll give them. Dark.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Story rich. I mean, there's not much else to it, but
unfortunately,
is the story rich?
This is the thing, is like where I think we have to get to the spoiler section before we start talking about
We're going to have to, but I think what I'm getting from him, which I'm shocked by, is that we're both a bit disappointed by the story.
Yeah.
I love battle royales.
Yeah, and I love the Running Man.
This doesn't feel like it. So I'm hesitant to recommend it. What I would say is, much like I did with my summer sale video, is say, get the huge bundle when it's on sale and you can get all the games for a extra discount.
Yeah. And
play them that way. I think they're all worth, because of what they're doing.
I mean, I got this for $3 essentially out of the sale when I bought I got it with 5 or 6 other games. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to pay that for this.
And that feels much along the lines of renting something online, like a movie to rent, or even, buying it digitally so that you can have it.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like that. And that 3 to 5 price range kind of fits for me. I wouldn't want to pay full price for this.
No. And I get it. It's like we don't get a lot of FMV. We're always harping on about that. And so, yeah, I mean, I do support Wales Interactive. Like, I am an early adopter sometimes of their games. I wasn't for this one, and I was kind of upset that I wasn't, because I really wanted to get in on this game early, because it looked great. But now I'm glad I didn't.
I love that they're still trying, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I want to support them because I want them to keep trying.
Or even if they kind of cause competition with other people, like, hey, I want a piece of that FMV pie, and then other people start getting back into this kind of genre again.
The sheer frequency that they come out with, though, and consistently, we're getting 1 to 2 games a year, it seems. Mm-hmm. Great. Then, if you have one like Bloodshore for me, well, you tried. I'll keep trying the next one.
And it might work for other people who might really enjoy this game. But
that is very possible. I mean, it's mostly positive. Yeah. It's not mostly negative. Mm-hmm. So other people like it enough to give it a positive.
Yeah.
But with that, though, I think it's time for us to go ahead and jump into the spoiler section. So if you have not played Bloodshore and you don't want spoilers, well, here's your warning.
Without further ado, it's time to start running!
We're going to start with an ad talking about 50 contestants, 1 prize, 13th season of Killstream, $10 million. We're going to get news clips. We're going to hear that 210 out of 270 have died so far in Killstream. It's run by Alan Corp. There is a brief moment of the police chief from Shape-Shifting Detective, who pops in and he's very upset with Killstream.
Yes.
But I love the sort of Wales Interactive FMV group of actors that will just pop in and out of these things. And it was fun to see him for 30 seconds come in and go, Killstream is terrible. I loved it. We are going to get a super quick introduction to all of the characters in a way that was too fast for me to actually feel like I'm getting to know the characters, but I love the idea of them throwing stats on the screen. Mm-hmm. So we've got Scarlett, who is an influencer, Otto, a game streamer, Nick, the actor of Wolf Boys fame, which I'm guessing is meant to be Twilight.
I thought it was more of a Lost Boys reference.
But it was a series.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I think from the artwork, because I think you get to see the cover as well at some point, and they're talking about these I saw Lost Boys, maybe you saw Twilight.
I'm thinking it's meant to be like a B-grade Twilight. Right. That's my take on it. We have Gav, who's an extreme vlogger, Tish, the game streamer, Dev, the travel vlogger who, rumor has it, ate a Royale out on... They were lost in a forest or something.
Survivor man.
Rhea, who's an MMA fighter. She's got the best odds, I think, 18 to 1. Mm-hmm. Ari, a podcaster, and your best friend, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Ricky, who is like a programmer or something, but he's the one that has the faulty parachute.
Yeah, he's just odds 1 million to 1.
Yeah. That's where the dark humor comes in.
Right.
And I appreciated that one. But for me, as far as the rest of it, the humor pretty much falls flat throughout the rest of it. That joke I appreciated.
I think the parachute jump in Deadpool worked better.
Yeah, but...
Well, Deadpool 2, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Nick is going to get kicked out of the plane. Well, maybe not. No. You can choose to jump, right?
I got kicked out the first time because I wasn't quick enough, because I was still reading what was going on. And then the second time I managed to jump on my own.
I will explain this now. Darren said, if you want to see what I saw, just let the defaults roll. Mm. So that is what I did. I let the defaults roll the first time. So in theory, you should... You should have the same response, at least for the first playthrough. Now, I've played it through a second time. I doubt I'm going to play it another time. Mm-hmm. I just didn't enjoy it enough. Yeah. You get the choice to jump or to wait. Now, it's not the way that they put it, but it's the way we're going to put it. I chose that one the second time through because I thought that's a funny choice, but that choice just means you wait and get kicked out. So second time through, saw what I saw before. Yeah. So there is a way that he jumps out the first time then. Okay. As I said before, they have a system where you can track how you're doing. The categories are team morale, audience opinion, romance, strength, and insight. There are live streamers clips as we're watching the show, also broadcast from the show. I get a heavy Big Brother influence from this. When I say that, I didn't really watch much of the US one, but I've watched full seasons of the UK Big Brother, and this definitely had much more feel to that than a US style one.
I've never seen the American one before.
I'm not sure that it would really be worth it. From my memory, faulty as it might be, it was a once-a-week show, whereas in the UK, Big Brother wasn't every day.
Yeah, it was every day, that's right.
Every day, plus recaps, plus extra stuff. You had whole extra shows where people talked about
the show. Yeah. Crazy.
It was massive.
I don't know if it's still as popular as that.
Well, I can't imagine it is, but I was there for season 2 or season 3. I was there when it was
huge,
probably at the height of its insanity and popularity.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people just standing outside of the house. Hoping to get on TV, I guess.
Yeah.
Just wow. But that's what this felt like. We had a woman come in and she had what looked like 6 people on a Zoom chat who she would occasionally throw a question to. We would be flipping through channels.
2 homeless people watching it.
Yeah. one who was previously a contestant, and the other guy doesn't believe him. But the flipping through channels I found really irritating. Yeah,
because I don't understand, like, am I supposed to be a person watching this then? I suppose I am. Like, so I'm not actually in control. Am I in control of the character? Am I Nick, or am I watching Nick?
And this is my biggest complaint about the movie aspect of this, is I do not feel that I am Nick. I do not feel like I am controlling him. I feel like, one, I'm flipping through the channels. I'm seeing all sorts of news reports. I know exactly what my stats are. I don't know if on their phones, they all seem to have these special phones, if those phones are meant to give them those stats as well. I don't know. Let's assume that it does. But I'm not trapped there. In a battle royale, whether it's a game or whether it's a movie, I should feel like I'm following a particular character, and I should feel that I am trapped with them. When you have me watch for, let's just call them the enemy, the other camps, when I'm jumping to them and I know what they're up to, it takes me out of that trapped feeling. And when you take me completely out and have me watch Gogglebox...
That's exactly what I've thought as well. Yeah, it's just Gogglebox.
I'm completely taken out of the tension of the moment.
I mean, I get what they were going for. Like with that, I don't know how I would describe him as, like, he's like a Max Headroom character, but he's not CGI. I don't know what that guy was supposed to be, like the guy that's egging you on all the time.
I think he's meant to be just the host. There's always one of those hosts. All the dystopian ones have them.
Yeah.
Take a look at Hunger Games, right? Stanley Tucci's character, and that was the host of the show, host of the games. And that's essentially what they're doing here. I think that's what he's meant to be. The woman running that panel show, she's doing the other aspect, the what do you think? How do you think?
Yes, and that was I'm pretty sure that's the Irish woman from the, I think she's in The Madness of Dr. Decker, and I think she was also in, what was the one we did that we reviewed before?
Shapeshifting Detective?
Shapeshifting Detective, yeah, I think she's in that as well. I'm pretty sure that was her.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, I got a big, I've never seen Hunger Games, so I just got a big kind of Running Man feel for this. But yeah, it's just no head collars exploding and stuff like that. But the whole, like, oh, we're going to deep fake it, you know, it's like, this has been done before 30 years ago. Like, what are you doing?
Well, all right, while we're doing this now, that is my other huge complaint, is that this basically does all the tropes without really, to me, feeling like it's adding anything new to the genre. Yeah. The only difference between this and all the others is it's not as well made and it's interactive. That's it. Yeah,
I wish they'd run more with, like, the whole, like you said, the whole Battle Royale theme of it. It's like, because it didn't feel like it. It just felt like it was just us versus them. It wasn't like us versus everybody.
No, because we lose 20 people at one point that we've never seen.
And there was no, we had this whole thing set up with these mines everywhere, but there was no, let's shrink the zone down to push everyone together. There was not.
Because they immediately took that and went, oh, well, we could just use that instead of actually working properly and getting that pressure that you would get in Battle Royale games. They just took it away.
Yeah.
I was interested when we saw these smart mines the first time, and then they took it away almost immediately. All right, so back to the plot. The group finds, as we just talked about, the smart mines. Then they're going to find the tents and campsite. Scarlett keeps going on about how this is different from the sandy beaches and the cabins of the past.
A tighter budget this year.
They have drinks and I guess food or something that night.
Yeah.
At 9 a.m., we get the broadcast. Now, the thing is, you cannot kill before then or you get disqualified. So you have to watch the broadcast. Ari thinks the whole thing is fake for TV. And this is where we get the story about Dev eating somebody in the Amazon. Nick is talking on a walkie-talkie to someone, but no idea like who this guy is at this point. But you can kind of put it together because it's fairly obvious. Mm-hmm. Tish is going to catch him. You have to choose whether or not to tell her the truth. And I think that's pretty much the night.
Yeah.
Can I just admit, Tish is the worst. Like, can I just say it? Like, I hope that she's in better stuff and that she does better stuff. But in this, it was just painful to watch. Like, this doesn't feel... I normally refer to Wales Interactive stuff as a B movie, and I'm happy to be there. This does not feel like a B movie. Is there a C movie? Does that exist? Because that's where this would be. Much of the technical side is okay. The lighting is way too bright and way too clear to fit this genre, or to even fit the mood I feel like they're going for. The costumes, the guns look okay, but the shooting of the guns looks just awful. It's just a CGI flash of light.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm expecting too much, but I would expect it to be better than this. This, as far as the technical side, as far as lighting, acting, everything, this is the worst one I've seen so far.
So Tish, for you it was Tish, for me it was Dev, because he looked like some kind of weird budget Piers Morgan.
I didn't mind him. I actually thought Dev was better compared to Tish and
he
Ari.
Looks like Piers Morgan. It was just weird. It's like, what's going on? And he's smug as him as well. It's just like, yeah, everything just fits. It's like, if that's what they were going for, then they nailed it.
Maybe that is what they were going for. Did you like the acting though, or is it me? Okay.
I mean, if I had to so if I had to choose someone that I thought was good, I liked Otto the best. I think Otto was
I can understand. But as soon as he said, "Hello, otters," I lost all respect for him.
But that's totally on point. That's exactly what someone who streams would say, something like that. So no, I liked Otto, and the Irish guy, was it Ari? Ari's was a good laugh up to a point, but they overused them a bit, and it was just like, okay, it's not very fun anymore. But yeah. Nick, not really. Tish, no. Dev, no. Yeah, everyone, no. Sorry.
Yeah, big sorry.
Well, make your own game, Darren. Yeah.
Because we don't like to pick on small indies, but it could be better.
Yeah.
I just feel like they weren't getting
maybe it was a COVID
performance.
Thing.
Like, maybe. I feel like they probably did well in the audition, but when it came to actually pulling it off, I don't know if the directors weren't getting what they wanted, if something about the fact that it's interactive, because they probably had to do the same scene multiple times, multiple angles, out where it's hot, and probably because of when this is released during COVID time. So there are probably all sorts of other things going on with that as well. So we understand, but when you're making an interactive movie and not a game, when you're really taking the game aspect away, your acting is now so much more important. Especially in the credits, when the credits roll at the start of the thing, and it's not like game made by blah, blah, blah. It's directed by, and it's got the guy's name. So it's like they're touting this as a movie kind of thing from the very get-go. But I think it would be fair to say, yeah, we've played... We love Wales Interactive games on the whole, I think, and we've played better. Let's cut to the morning. The broadcast happens. Yep. Some people are here, some people aren't. Otto isn't, and then he shows up. Dev is already gone. I think Ria's already gone. They're going to tell us about the smart they're going to tell us in the broadcast about the smart mines. There's an alarm that's going to tell you more have been activated. Get to the center. You can't leave. If you try to leave into the water, into the sea, the smart mines will get you, I guess. Though, how many are there? They would have to be pretty close because their explosion area of effect is not that huge.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you could escape. There are going to be crates dropped with ammo and other helpful things. This year, there are no tap-outs. Now, this is something I think we got at the campfire the night before, where Scarlet said she was definitely going to be a tap-out, which means you basically quit.
Yeah.
I don't want to be killed. I quit. But this year, there are no tap-outs, so she is crying and very upset by that. You can choose to inspire the team.
I tried. I definitely tried on both times.
There's a weird thing here where the first time it's okay, and then it says do nothing or try again. On my second playthrough, I tried again, and you actually do worse by trying again.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It feels awful. Like, as a game, the game mechanic of it feels awful. Try something and be punished for it. And it put me off wanting to try anything.
Yeah, that's Telltale Games written all over it right there.
Nick and Scarlet find some guns. One sort of works and one sort of doesn't. You have to choose which one to give to Scarlet. If you give her the one that works, she fires one off accidentally.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. So you lose one bullet right there. Plus, you've given her the gun that works, and your strength goes down. Because I guess Nick knows how to use a gun. In the default one here, you're going to end up back at the camp. The team arms up. They put on some armor that I don't know where it came from.
No.
I'm assuming other people in the group found the armor crate. The armor consists of like shoulder pads.
It's like parts of a stormtrooper outfit, basically.
And bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
Important for every time somebody gets shot and they don't want to be... the story doesn't want them to be dead.
Yeah.
Everyone is using phones and has signal, which I was impressed by until they said, oh, well, that's because it's run through Allen Corporation's stuff. And that's why also they're listening into everything you say. I did find it interesting that in this one, it's almost like they're promoting, we want you to stream it.
Yeah.
But it also seems a bit stupid. Why would you stream it? Because you're basically giving yourself away if everybody has access to those streams.
Yeah. And it's...
They didn't really approach that in the story, and I was waiting for them to.
For like real life stream sniping. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That never came. Yeah. I was waiting for something like that. But, and also, why would you allow people to stream it? It's like you would surely want to collect all the money and funnel everything through your own channel to the thing that you're organizing. Yeah, whatever.
Especially since money is a problem for them, apparently.
Yeah.
I will say this about the game. It is nice that you can pause anytime.
Yep. And they also have an interesting option where it's like a streamer-friendly version where you can pause the choices as well. So you could ask your chat, okay, what should we do?
Oh, is that what it does? I didn't know what it did. I thought maybe it just made the screen fit properly into
No, it's like a thing so you can actually, you can pause the choices and then you can, if you're streaming the game, you can take a vote on what you should do in chat. And that's quite cool so that your viewers can play the game for you.
I like that. That's a very good idea. Rhea is going to come out of the woods with blood on her face, says she ran into some psychos, but is okay. Do we believe her? Well, apparently it doesn't matter. I mean, it does. You have to choose whether or not to let her live.
Yep.
Scarlet gets shot in the chin. And the whole group is ambushed. Dev, the cannibal, we'll say, he's running this whole other group. They're going to end up on like a bridge. Tish follows them. You kind of lose them. And then you have to choose. You have choose Gav or choose Tish. Mm-hmm. Save one. Now, the default chose Tish.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering if the default was just random.
No, because unless... No, I don't think so, because I played this the first time thinking it would matter, and so I saved Gav the first time. And then when I just let it run the second time, I was like, okay, I just want to see what because I thought the whole choices mattered thing was coming in, and then by halfway through the game, I realized there's no point in me choosing anything. This is just another Telltale game that I can just sit back and not touch anything, and I won't die. And so the second time, yeah, it automatically saved Tish for me too. So I think it's set.
I will say this seems to be the only choice I encountered where I had to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Every other time, I could just let the timer run out and the game would choose for me. Now, it was not consistent. It didn't always choose left, which is what I thought it would do at first. They've got a default they want it to run through.
Mm-hmm.
Saving Tish, though, means Gav's dead.
Yes.
So on the second playthrough, I did save him to see what changed. A little bit, not much.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the grand scheme of the story. So just in my notes, I said, please stop channel surfing. It's so annoying.
Although I did like that Jeremy Clarkson type guy who was just like grilling the maker of the game.
That's what leads.
He was probably my favorite actor in the whole thing.
That's what leads to your insight.
Right.
Yeah, that scene is probably one of the best acted, the best lit. It looked like a news report kind of. It looked like it was a professional interview.
Sorry, not Jeremy Clarkson. That's the guy from Top Gear. Jeremy Paxman.
I was wondering.
Very different people.
I was wondering, do we need to do that part again?
Nah, you leave it in and just put this in at the end. It might be funny, I don't know.
Okay.
Cut that bit out, though.
Nick and Tish Tasker survive by jumping in the river. Nick says they need to go dark, no phones. Dev's group finds Scarlet. Her chin is all messed up. The makeup here looks good.
Yeah. This was quite dark, actually, this part. This was yeah.
Dev records Ari killing her. He makes Ari kill her, which, of course, he can't do with one shot, so he has to shoot her like 4 times.
And they stream it live, yeah.
And in death, she finally gets her 1 million followers that she wanted.
That was quite funny.
Yes. So this is joke number 2 that did work. I think before I said only one joke worked. This one did, but it was also really sad.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this one.
That's the black humor, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I appreciate this one. At this point, we have a choice to stay watching what the game is showing us or change the channel.
Yeah.
There are a few of those. And again, I noticed on my second playthrough, watching that interview seems to give you a lot more insight. So if you're going for top insight, I'm assuming you can get all of the indicators to 100%, but probably not all in the same playthrough.
Yeah, and maybe it's an achievement kind of thing.
All the achievements are hidden.
Yeah, I hate that in general. It's not just this game. Any game that hides their achievements, stop doing that.
Well, because we know we can go to global achievements and look them up. Though with this one, a number of them that I did get were a bit vague, and I wouldn't know what that meant until after I had already gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that it really matters that they were hiding them.
Yeah. I have looked up a guide for this to see how many playthroughs you would need for 100% achievement. I think the guide that I saw was 4.
That's an awful lot to watch through a movie 4 times.
Yep.
I suppose, though, if you can skip, it will be faster if you know exactly which choice you're supposed to be doing. At this point in the default, Nick tells Tish the truth, says the game is fixed with, as you said, deepfake technology. They give the winners the advantage. He was sent here by the Alliance to stop them. Alan Corp chooses the winner because if they choose them and help them, then they don't just go off and be famous on their own. They're indebted to the corporation, and also because of the fact that if the scandal got out, then all the winners would also be part of that scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like we're all in this together. He has something he calls a payload device, which I don't know what it is. It's a signal hacker of some sort.
Yeah, something like that.
But it gets broken, so it doesn't really matter anyway. At least in the default one, it gets broken. We're at night, time to keep watch. They have a conversation. We find out Nick lost a friend to this game early on, like season 4 or something. Tish is doing this for money to help her family, and the ad revenue she's getting right now will help even if she dies. She said earlier she didn't know the Wolf Boys movies, but she says now she does. She admits to it. We now look at Dev's camp, and this is what I was talking about. We should feel trapped with the two that we're following, not watching the others. It feels a bit wrong. Calvin, this huge guy in a mask, takes off with RA to go hunt Nick. Calvin Biggs from America's Most Wanted. RA said, "Oh, I saw you on America's Most Wanted." He doesn't want to make the big guy mad, so he says, "Oh, the children probably deserved it," or something. He says something ridiculous. He also has all those really awful jokes throughout, which is why I didn't really care much for him. Otto is going to show up. Nick lets him in on the truth as well. The stream that we're watching says that we're down to the final 10 now. And so we're like, we're down to the final 10? We only started with about 12.
I know, yeah. Huge battle royale right there, yeah.
I honestly think... I see what they're doing. They don't have the money, or as I said, if this was during COVID time, it'd be tough to get a bunch of extras in to do this.
Yeah.
I understand that. I can sympathize. But it doesn't feel like Battle Royale. And if you're going to say you have 50 and then you show us 12, that's not the same. I think it would have been better to have started off with 12 and not done all the group dynamic stuff at the beginning. It didn't really lead to me empathizing with any of the characters. I don't really feel like the characters are really well developed. I think what would have been better, if this is the number you have, would be to go with a story where it's only 12 to 14. Mm-hmm. Everybody's all in for themselves. We're following one person. And you can still group up. You can still have those alliances, but just don't have it at the beginning. Having 50, but we don't get to see about 35 of them, feels cheap.
Yeah, it's like there's a big chunk of the movie missing, yeah. And I felt that the whole way through it. It was like, when are we going to meet these other people? But, well, not the whole way through it, because, yeah, it pretty much, yeah, after about, was it, maybe an hour?
This is about halfway, I think, yeah.
An hour into the game, yeah, it's like, oh, we're down to the final 10 or whatever, something like that, yeah.
Otto suggests that he can perhaps learn to hack the smart mines, or you can use sticks to try and get through this field without blowing yourselves up. Morale drops from whatever the default was. Calvin and RA attack. Calvin steps on a mine and dies. Tish says Otto swatted another player and the player died. This is talking about real life. He had another streamer he didn't like or something, and he called police on him, so the SWAT team came in and killed him. So it's a reason why she doesn't really feel sorry for him. But Tish in general just probably doesn't really feel sorry for anyone except for perhaps her family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, she's not to be trusted. She's a liar herself, so...
We're going to get to a point where Dev has Tish at gunpoint, and you can choose to stand your ground or give up. Tish is the one who's going to... I think I maybe said this wrong before, but Tish is basically going to shoot Otto in this default.
Right.
And Nick is saved by his bulletproof vest. Dev is angry, says we need him, I guess about Nick. Nick takes off. Tish shoots Otto in the head, so sure that he's dead. The angry interviewer here shouting at the maker of Killstream. This is where I think the main one happens, at least in the default. In the choices one, I think you can get a couple different ones of these.
Okay.
Nick is going to approach the building that I think he needs. Dev's brown vest guy, because I never learned his name, is standing guard, and you can choose to stealth through or kill him.
Yeah.
And then you can loot the body, which gets you another gun. In the default, you don't get the gun, though. You keep getting weaker and weaker. Yeah. It's going to come down to a 3-way shoot-off, sort of. We have Dev, we have Tish, we have Nick. Mm-hmm. But we know that Tish has betrayed Nick already. So it's really Dev and Tish versus Nick. Dev is going to turn on the screen, show him that the ending has already been established, that Nick would conveniently be exactly where he is and would get shot in the head. Or they've deep faked it that quickly.
Like real timed it, yeah. That's what I thought it was. Like,
I think we need to go with that because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Very little surprise, Tish betrays Dev.
Yeah.
And that the deep fake was fake. And now we've got another one. But Nick laughs. He's sent out proof to the world already using the phone that Alan Corp gave him that they're supposed to be blocking all sorts of information on.
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'll save all this for the end because, yeah.
This is the end. This is the end. Because basically, that goes out. I think you get the 100% audience approval. Everybody is panicked who works for the show. Get me my chopper.
Right. They start escaping.
What's going on? And everybody that we have seen that is just a spectator is going, what? This is fake the whole time? This has been fake?
But at the same time, when I got to this part, I was like, who cares? Like, I don't care. And this is my big problem with the game was everything happened. There was like little fragments of a story dotted around. And rather than do one thing well, they tried to do too many different things. Like, just have a battle royale that you kill each other, and that's fun, you know. Just have a battle royale where everybody kills each other. There's one person at the end. There's a few backstabbings and stuff like that, and you use the mines. You get pushed closer and closer together, and you do count your bullets or whatever, and then you win. Or you don't win and you die and you get to play again. You got to work out a way to win the 10 million bucks, or have a story about taking down a corporation in this Running Man type game, like the Running Man, if you want, which is what they were kind of going for. But you don't see enough of the company. You just see this idiot on television berating you all the time. Like I said, I kept on thinking of him as Max Headroom. It's not Max Headroom; they're totally different. But just the way that he just like his stupid voice and bobbing around television, you're just annoying. I don't know enough about the corporation. I don't know anything about their history really. I don't know why they're bad. I know they're in debt, and then we've got all the public stuff. There's just little bits of stuff all floating around, and I didn't care by the end. I was really surprised that they didn't use real streamers as well. There's a lot of famous people that maybe they can't act, but they can act like they're streaming because that's what they do. Like, there's tons of streamers. People would buy the game because like, oh, my guy's in there, you know? I was expecting those guys to show up to give some commentary. Because when I saw that woman who was a streamer, I was like, I don't know her. Is she an actor? Or is she a real streamer? Because she looked like a real streamer because she wasn't acting very great. But I was like, oh, there's going to be more streamers or YouTubers. And they just never showed up. So it's like, I don't know. That's me expecting stuff. And again, COVID was a thing. And so maybe they had all these ideas for stuff that just all fell through because of coronavirus.
The officials, like I said, from the Killstream, they panic and they leave roll credits. Okay, Nick has laughed because he sent off the proof, but he gets killed in the default. When you make the choice, you can shoot Tish and then survive.
Yes.
In this one, I went, what happened to Rhea? Oh, she dies in the gavel.
Right.
So that's a bit weird that we have Rhea, but she doesn't die in the Tish version where you follow Tish. I ended with team morale 2%, audience opinion 100%, romance Tish 33%.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if there's a way to do any more. Strength at 1%, insight at 62%, the decisions made and scenes viewed 52 out of 294. So I've only seen like a sixth of what's available out there to watch.
Yep.
Ooh. Here's what I would say. I agree with your take on it. I think that it needed to have more, but I've seen a lot more of these kind of movies and read these stories. A lot of YA stuff. You've got The Hunger Games, you've got Maze Runner, Divergent, a lot of this
The Purge.
thing. No. And The Purge, I would put into it, not the first one. And that's where I really think that they went wrong, and where I think, for me, The Purge has gone wrong ever since they made a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
In the fact that what I want is I want a story where it just happens. Where we're not out to take down the evil corporation behind it, where there's not a conspiracy behind it. Stop doing that in your very first story. Now, The Purge didn't do that in the first one. The first one made it just seem like this is the law, this is the way the society works, and that's it. And I like that. When they started adding in, ooh, we need to take down the evil people behind it, I lost interest. And in this one, it just feels even worse because they are not in a bubble. They've seen all of these other things. I'm sure they must have. They're getting a lot of ideas from them and bringing them in here, but not doing anything that... I mean, I don't want to say that, like, I'm a huge fan of the genre. I am of Battle Royale, but a lot of the other dystopian things that have come since are where they take these tropes and it's has all the YA tropes mixed in. I'm not a big fan of them. I love the idea, I love the setting, I love the way you can make characters interact, but overall, they are disappointing to me. And this one is what feels like a disappointing copy of a movie that already disappointed me.
Right.
And I'm really disappointed that they just went with so many tropes. If you're just going to make the exact same thing, but now it's interactive, you haven't really made something new. And that's not what I want from Wales Interactive. I want them pushing the envelope and doing something different. And this didn't feel like it. If you want an interactive movie to watch, I would recommend Bandersnatch on Netflix. Black Mirror is not perfect, but it has a much better idea of what it's doing and a much more original idea and story and character to go through. And as far as jumping to decisions and speeding things up, it does it in a way that is fantastic, where I sat there for an afternoon playing through all the situations, much like I would as a kid with my Choose Your Own Adventure books, going through and through and through to see what all is available. And they sped it up in a way that is just, I won't say perfect, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
It works very well so that I didn't feel bogged down seeing what I'd already seen. And it had a way of letting me do choices that didn't make me do the entire thing all over again, which is what this feels like. That's sort of the bar that's been set for an interactive movie, and that's kind of what I'm expecting from now on.
Yeah, because even Telltale, they did the Minecraft movie, or like the Minecraft interactive movie, which was a game first, and actually that's on Netflix too, and you can play it on Netflix, which is, and it's worth it. It's not bad. It's a decent take on the whole kind of Minecraft universe, because I don't play Minecraft. My daughter does, but I don't. But
you've certainly watched it. I've watched it.
But yeah, I'd recommend that one as well. But yeah, but like, so for other Wales interactive games like The Complex or The Bunker or that's that. Yeah, they're definitely moving more into that interactive movie kind of thing. They're moving more away from games and inventory and using stuff and solving a couple of puzzles, in inverted quotes here. I'm starting to realize that I might not be into that so much anymore. I much preferred when we were playing Her Story. That's my kind of FMV that I want to see more of.
I agree. And I think that I did buy the big bundle.
Or Tex Murphy.
We may get through a few more.
Yeah.
But I am more hesitant now about purchasing them in the future.
Or at least purchasing them full price. Like, I think now I'm going to sit on the fence and wait for those sales for sure. But that's what I always do.
That's what I was just going to say. I always do that anyway, so I can't put that against them.
Gaps filled or more gaps created.